welcome to Bad Movie Beatdown, and today I'm reviewing Epic Movie, or as I like to call it, Epic Fail. From shitmeisters Jason Freeberg and Aaron Seltzer, aka Seltzerberg, Epic Movie is a 2007 cash-in on everything released 18 months prior, or thereabouts. The box is keen to highlight they're from the same writers as Scary Movie. Oh, sorry. 2 of the 6 writers of Scary Movie. Scary Movie had a tendency to throw everything at the screen, however vulgar or rude, and throw in as many references as it could. Some of it worked, a lot of it didn't, but it was a box office success that spawned 3 sequels and a spin-off, Date Movie, the first in which Seltzerberg worked on without the Wayans brothers. Date Movie was a commercial success, but a critical catastrophe, and very rightfully so, well and truly establishing their style. Throwing in references to recent films, regardless of genre, along with an assortment of dick and boob jokes. Epic Movie manages to be even worse, descending even deeper into the pit of comedic hell also occupied by the likes of Freddy Got Fingered and Pluto Nash. The film was a big success at the box office, making almost $90 million worldwide on a $20 million budget, thus allowing yet more of their so-called spoofs to appear. I don't even think they've got the title right. I mean, when I think of an epic movie, I think of Ben-Hur, The 10 Commandments, or Lawrence of Arabia. Epic and blockbuster, which I think they're attempting to parody, are not the same thing. I'm also watching the unrated version with more swearing and boobies to please the 8-year-olds, or as the UK box likes to call it, the rude and crude unseen version. Should be good then. Oh, and take a look here on the back. Discover what it takes to survive an epic movie. Given how bad the movie is, I think that's probably a bit ironic. Interestingly, the film opens without a Fox logo in sight, despite them being the distributors of the movie. And believe me, when Fox take their name off a movie, you know it's bad. So the film opens, like the Da Vinci Code, at the Louvre in Paris, as the first orphan of the tale, Lucy, played by Jayma, showing those career instincts that land her a role in Paul Blart Mall Cop, runs through the corridors and just happens to bump into her dying guardian, David Carradine! What the hell, man? You're Bill! You were the king of cool! Here we get our first gag.
Please don't die, you're all I have.
You're on my hand.
Oh, sorry.
She then notices the film's resident Illuminati, here played by Kevin Hart, a black actor painted bright white. How racially sensitive. She notices the patterns surrounding the dying man are some form of clue, but because she's thick as a brick, she asks for more help. The man then helps her by break dancing.
Let's go! Your body here is in the shape of a letter. It's the letter D.
Because in the mind of a 6-year-old, throwing in random breakdancing and hip-hop equals hilarity. So finally, she manages to decipher the code and gets her golden ticket into Willy's chocolate factory. Next! We cut to an orphanage in Mexico with the next orphan, Edward, played by Penn. Here we see the world's lamest Nacho Libre parody.
Nacho!
Never have I pined more for Jack Black.
Cheese flavored Doritos are delicious!
Edward is then set upon by El Polo Torpe, who breaks his arm and throws him across the table where he finds his gold ticket.
Sweet!
Yay! I'm so happy my broken arm fixed itself! So he's thrown out of the window and we get a transition into our next dunderhead, Susan, played by Fawn Chambers, who is on a flight to meet her adoptive parents. Guess who they are? But there are snakes on the plane, which means we need Samuel L. Jackson.
I've had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
So have I.
I've had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Right.
I've had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Jesus! Rule of Comedy 95. Doing a bad impersonation and then doing it 3 times does not make it funny. At least in the unrated version, this so-called joke actually remains intact. In the PG-13 theatrical cut, all instances of motherfucking are replaced with goddamn, managing to ruin what little joke there was to ruin in the first place. So, not Jackson throws her off the plane, who somehow survives by crushing an obviously fake Paris Hilton dummy in the process. So she finds her golden ticket in the bag of the late Paris Hilton knockoff, and we cut to the Mutant Academy to our next orphan, Peter. There he sees Carmen Electra doing Mystique, hence painted bright blue, and doing a sexy dance. Personally, I find this as arousing as a bowl of noodles, but hey, I'm not a 12-year-old. So Peter embarrasses himself by asking her out to the homecoming dance as the local bullies enter, meaning we get an X-Men parody.
You talking to my girl?
Asshole.
It really shows how stunningly lazy the so-called writing is on this movie when they're stealing a joke from the very movie they're supposedly satirising. Shameless. Simply shameless.
What are you gonna do about it?
He's unleashing his powers.
He's gonna spread into wings. More like chicken wings.
Oh good, a joke that would have been funny had it not been for the lame execution, lack of development, and the need to explain it to the audience. This persecution, however, turns out to be a blessing as he finds his golden ticket. So the film is finally done introducing to us the four main characters, taking 12 minutes in total. 12 minutes?! 12 minutes! You may have already noticed something about their targets. Many of these movies are comedies. The point of a spoof is to take the cliches of a genre and put a funny spin on them. How do you put a funny spin on something that was supposed to be funny in the first place? How exactly does one parody Nacho Libre, for instance? Snakes on a Plane is a firmly tongue-in-cheek movie that satirises a number of horror cliches. They're spoofing something that was a parody in itself. The only valid target that fits is the Da Vinci Code, and all they said about that movie was Tom Hanks had really bad hair in it. So they agreed to buy the Willy Wonka lookalike Willy, played by what the fuck? Crispin Glover? From George McFly to this? And this was the guy that accused Spielberg of being money grubbing. Talk about a hypocrite. So they enter the factory and enter a scene taken straight from Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Look guys, there is a difference between parody and plagiarism. They're not the same thing!
A chocolate river. It's so delicious! That's actually the sewer line.
Yep, that's this movie in a nutshell, a great big river of shit. So we're greeted with the revelation that Willy uses real human tissue in all of his chocolate and candy, and intends on using the protagonist to flavour his next bunch. Just roll with it.
Burgerlicious definition, make them boys go loco. You can see me, I'm easy, I'm sleazy. I got wide season, bullet seasons.
Oh, make it stop. It's even worse than the songs in the actual movie. Jesus Christ! And her head's now back on. Do they even care about their jokes? They just put on whatever violent imagery they can do, put some rap shit on it, and just hope people will find it funny. After being tortured, which doesn't make sense because they want to cut them up, they concur that they had to escape.
We've got to get out of here.
We gotta get out of here.
I just said that.
You just said that.
Whilst fleeing, Lucy finds a wardrobe, just like in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, and decides to take a look. I'm guessing that wasn't in the PG-13 version. Seriously, what the hell? That's among one of the most random and unnecessary uses of full frontal nudity I've ever seen. And by the way, porn can be found on the internet! So she goes through the wardrobe. Look, these are just the same scenes with idiot pratfalls thrown in. That's not satire or parody. She sees a lamppost and tries to lick it. If anyone in the audience didn't see this obvious gag coming, then I'll give you a number for a good psychiatrist.
Fuck.
So her tongue gets cut off and she meets Mr. Tumnus.
Welcome to my farm, Grip.
Oh god, please don't tell me they're going to... What does this have to do with the Chronicles of Narnia, or epic movies in general?
Check out my plasma. Say hello to my little friend! Scarface is this shit.
Oh my god, they actually referenced something that wasn't from 2006. And by the way, what does this have to do with MTV Cribs or Narnia?
Under the couch for when I'm looking for change. Booyah!
And it seems the audience has just paid for a low-grade YouTube poop on the big screen. So she's briefed that the white bitch is in control of Narnia, spelt with a silent G because that's funny or something, and Tumnus intended to turn her in, but found himself incapable of doing so. Edward then follows Lucy into the wardrobe and comes across the white bitch.
What a MILF.
Laugh! It's funny, because Jennifer Coolidge was the original MILF in American Pie. You know, a film that I could be watching instead.
Behold, my White Castle.
White Castle?
Or for that matter, Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. So he leaves the white bitch and finds the other three, and they all head on to Mr. Tumnus's house. Oh yeah, I forgot. Peter makes a piss drawing in the snow.
I love Sudoku.
Do you remember the Sudoku craze of 2006? Yeah, I wish I didn't either. They come back to find that Tumnus's house has been trashed. They find Tumnus's partner, voiced by Cat Williams.
Something in my groin tells me you're not used to a talking beaver. My name is Harry Beaver.
His name sounds like Harry Beaver. I'm too old for this shit. So it turns out that Tumnus was taken and a prophecy was written foretelling their arrival and an overthrow of the white bitch's regime.
You're all heroes, especially you, Peter.
My son, I have sent you to Earth for a reason.
Oh goody, let's crowbar in this Superman Returns parody, no matter how forced it is.
Oh my god, you shot me in the fucking eye! That really hurts!
This would be funny if it actually had context. As it stands, it's a joke clearly made for the trailer. So Edward sneaks off and the others discover they're all siblings, their parents killed by the white bitch. So Edward is pressed by the white bitch as to their location.
Where is the rest of your family?
Never. Yeah, they went to Mr. Tumnus's house.
Yes! You just got pumped! Save the camera! Save the camera!
I just got punked.
Cash well! Yeah!
So the hitman from earlier emerges and is ordered to go and find the orphans and kill them.
Persona non grata, magna cum laude.
Bring for Djibouti!
Okay, what the hell? This was completely pointless, twisted, and really strange and out of place. So they meet up with Tumnus again and find out that the bitch has completed a weapon of mass destruction and intends to launch it within 24 hours.
I'll meet you at Aslow's. May the force be with you.
Again, references are not jokes. So they are chased by the assassin and run on, leaving Tumnus behind.
Stop! You'll have to go through me first.
Okay, that was quite funny, even though the timing was off. But then they proceed to ruin it.
I'm in a lot of pain.
He's testing us.
This is not a test. I can see my brain.
Congratulations, you just ruined your one funny joke! So they head towards the castle and end up at Hogwarts. Yep, we've moved into Harry Potter territory. Cue the joke.
Welcome! My name is Harry Potter.
Aren't you a little old to still be a student here?
Nonsense. I am but 14, as are my two best friends, Ron and Hermione.
Wow, something that actually resembles satire. And it still sucks. So we get the mandatory invisible cloak, not actually invisible gag.
Step off, Potter!
The perverted perverted, sex-crazed attitude of the gags really says some unsettling things about the filmmakers.
Let the training montage begin! Cue inspirational music. Leave the cloak.
So they train up and we get a montage. They also need to throw in some Harry Potter characters, then kill them, just because. So they're told they're ready to meet Aslo. I guess because Aslan was too copyrighted, but that name doesn't even make any sense.
This crystal will finally put an end to the resistance. Start a series of earthquakes that will collapse all of Narnia and grow a new continent where only I and my followers will live.
Yo, bitch, that's pretty much the plot of Superman Returns.
Even the movie is aware it's not parodying but plagiarizing.
It's an I am from Silas. The kids have escaped.
She can't read! Laugh! So we cut to Edward in prison with Jack Sparrow. Wait, sorry, Swallows. So Swallows hatches a plan to break them out of prison.
Man down! I could have faked it!
Edward is with Jack Swallows as they go onto their boat. You know, I just realised that they haven't actually done anything with Jack Sparrow besides change his name. I sensed something coming, like a rap number.
We are the pirates of the Caribbean. Yes, the pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep, the pirates burst into a version of Lazy Sunday, popularised by Saturday Night Live. Not only does this date the film considerably, but we're recycling jokes that the audience saw for free on television, and with less product placement for fish fingers. Finally, the white bitch shows up, and it turns out that it was all a ruse to get information out of Edward. Bitch flaunts her weapon of mass destruction, and it stupidly gets knocked into the ocean. Well, that's it, I must be off and... Oh, God, it continues. So, that seems to go nowhere, and the others finally go to meet Aslo. But as they approach, everyone bows before the mighty trio. What a great parody of Daniel Craig's Bond, something that wasn't even out when this was written and shot.
My name is Borat. This is my country of Narnia.
If I was making a comedy with no sense of humour and the mentality of an 8-year-old, what would I put in now? Oh, Borat! Chuck in a Borat impersonator in a suit! You know, completely missed the point of the movie I'm supposed to be satirising!
She is my sister. She is number 4 prostitute in all of Narnia. Nice.
That's the same joke, with one word change. The same joke. This isn't parody or plagiarism, this is outright theft. So they catch Aslo, here played by Bean Better, Fred Willard in bed, and we get more pointless nudity to give the 12-year-olds boners. How the hell did they get Fred Willard and Jennifer Coolidge? Did they think they were making a Christopher Guest movie or something? He agrees to help them on the condition of a foursome, because sex is comedy. So they try to free Edward from prison, but Aslo meets Silas the assassin. The orphans are reunited, giving each other a group hug, but as they escape, Aslo bumps into the white bitch.
Goodbye, Aslo.
Oh no! Aslo! I care so much! Especially since that fight scene was entirely pointless! Despite their loss, they have a pre-battle party somehow, and Mystique, who has shown up with the X-Men somehow, eyes up Peter. Do my senses detect another pointless sex scene?
I'm a shape changer. I can change my form into anything. What do you like?
Bingo wings, like a fat blue Britney Spears. Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yet another glimpse of the warped psyche of Seltzerberg. Ugh, that's just vulgar. It doesn't take intelligence to make someone vomit. Apparently everyone is so disgusted by Lucy's behaviour that nobody turns up to help them fight the following morning. In other words, they don't have a budget to do a battle scene. Oh god, not more. Just make this movie end. So finally they charge and... Stormtroopers. Another reference. Unsurprisingly, they get massacred, but as Peter is crawling along the ground, he finds the remote from Click? biggest cop-out ever. It's not even funny, it's just insulting. Thanks to the whopper of a Deus Ex missioner, he cures their injuries, kills the army, and erases the bitch's plot. It was bad enough in funny games. They are then all crowned kings and queens of Narnia, and we have some more references celebrating. It then cuts them as old men and women, and finding the wardrobe again.
Yegshamash, you did it. You make a movie film have happy ending. Not.
Glad to see this is what Seltzer thinks of the paying audience. Anyway, they get crushed by a wheel as a final FU to the audience, and we cut to credits with outtakes for 15 minutes. This film is only an hour and 15 minutes long without them, so the film would be a bit too short for a theatrical or DVD release. Seriously, the fact that this film is padded like hell, feels that long, and yet in reality is that short really says something. So there we go, Epic Movie, a film that stands for everything I hate about Hollywood. Rampant commercialism, a patronising nature, and a catering to the very lowest forms of society. It's vulgar, offensive, and thoroughly unfunny throughout, constantly mistaking plagiarism and references for parody. It's a completely empty and vacuous satire that has nothing to say about its targets. The fact that after the bomb of disaster movie, these guys are still in a job sums up everything bad about the film industry today. And the worst part is that these guys made a Twilight parody called Vampires Suck, which Twilight idiots will make successful so they can make even more vile movies. It would be ingenious if it wasn't so cynical. I'm Matthew Buck, beating down bad movies everywhere.